Hello. So we have a first, as you can see, because we have not one, not two, but three people joining us who are the two stars and the director of Fight for Love, which has come out recently on Vigloo and been doing very well, as it should, because it is one of the best projects that I've seen in the last month. So I'm going to ask each person here to do a small introduction and tell everyone who they are.
Okay. I guess I'll start. My name is Tyler Johnson Ellis, and I play Caleb Wilder in Fight for Love.
My name is Shanna Shea Sinow, and I play Delaney Monroe in Fight for Love.
My name is Mauricio Osaki. I was having the pleasure to watching both of them, and I was playing the director.
Playing
Thank you
the
so much.
actor.
He's playing the hell out of it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my first question is how does it work with everyone getting involved in the project? Who gets attached to it first, and what is the story of each of the three of you becoming involved in it?
Mm. I'm not really sure who is attached. I think it might have been Shanna who was initially like the first person cast. I think. Mal, correct me if I'm wrong, and I think then I came on after. But it might be reversed. I'm not really sure.
Based on the conversations you and I had, Tyler, because I had known about it for about 2 months
Okay,
before
yeah.
flying out. So yeah. But Mal actually DM'd me on Instagram based off of the one vertical that I'd done, and he said, "Do you want to come to Asia for a vertical?" I was like,
Which is
"Sure." Do you have more
insane because she
information?
has done one thing, one thing, and her second one was in Vietnam, which is so crazy. Mhm.
Was it filmed in Vietnam then? Are you saying it's filmed abroad?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I got this text from Mal that said, "Do you want to shoot in Asia?" And then I said, "Okay, cool. Yeah, sure. Do you have more information?" And he's like, "No." And I didn't find out it was in Vietnam until like a month after that. And he was like, "Oh, by the way, it's Vietnam. Here's the sides. Go audition for it." And it kind of just fell into place from there. It was really great.
So Tyler, I have to ask, Shanna, obviously your role, you're a lawyer, you don't really need to prep for that. But Tyler, your role is incredibly physical. Did you have any of that sort of background? Did you prep for it? How does that work?
Yeah, the stunt coordinator on set, he also played one of the characters, the lawyer on Fight for Love. He's a amateur professional boxer, and his twin brother is also in the MMA. So they sent me a bunch of like kind of drills to do at home. So I just kind of like practicing like the movements and the punches. But I played a lot of sports growing up. I did martial arts since I was like 8, so I'm pretty used to the violence, I guess.
So what did you two think when you read the script? Because I know there's a few MMA kind of background projects that are going
Mhm.
around at the moment. And I think quite a lot of them are they don't really capture kind of the brutality of it. They're a little bit cartoonish, whereas this one feels a lot more real. Did you have that sense when you read the script?
Yeah, I definitely did. This is one of those scripts where it's not a copy. It's like they didn't copy some other one that did well earlier. They made it themselves and they really did their research for all of it. And that's why all the fight scenes seem so real. And then the people they hired, almost every person on set was in the fight scene doing Muay Thai or
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu. Everyone knew what they're doing. So it was very like that's the culture that we were around. So that's why it seems so real.
So talking about the story then, obviously I think it's got a really slightly unusual opening, which we're seeing a bit more in verticals, which is your character Shanna. It starts with a voiceover from Delaney and then it actually ends with the voiceover. And for me that kind of sets the tone because it's not kind of the standard vertical opening at the moment
Ooh.
of like, oh, you go home and oh look, here's cheating and blah blah blah. What is it like doing those voiceovers? Like how does that actually work? Do you do that all afterwards? I'm just personally intrigued.
It depends on the set. Sometimes they'll wait until like very last minute and then you'll sit in a little room and you'll record. On this one, I think it was day 3 or 4 of 5. It's day 3. And they were like setting up new scenes and filming with other people. And so Mao grabbed the sound guy and was like, "Okay, come in here. Everybody sit down. We're going to film these voiceovers." And then you sit and we'll do like 2 or 3 versions of the same things. And then they pick like from there. I know I personally also there was like somewhere in the original editing they either like wanted a different take or maybe like the audio wasn't great, and so Mao actually sent me pieces of the script and had me record them myself at home, and I sent them to him. So I got some like nice little reminiscing moments at my little house.
Oh, Because one of the things I also like about it, which I kind of think is really important for verticals, is that when you start it on Vigloo, you do get a warning of like, there is,
Hmm.
the sexual content, there is violence, which I wish everything did. So I wanted to say that's brilliant. And I presume that's down to the platform Vigloo doing that.
Yes.
Because the kind of the thing that obviously kickstarts it all, which I don't think I'm revealing too much, is the fact that Shanna gets attacked. Sorry, not Shanna. Delaney gets attacked in the car park. Is it car park? Underground car park. And obviously Caleb goes in and it all goes a bit wrong. And I thought that scene was quite extraordinary, partly because of how it's lit. So this is like amazing eerie blue light. So it already looks sinister. And also, I mean, kudos to all of you in that, again, it's not that vertical pantomime. Like it's visceral and real, and it's I'm scared for your character Delaney, and also the way that Caleb does that punch as well. It's kind of, it felt like a boxing punch, and also that horror that you can have in boxing matches, can't you, if it goes horribly wrong. How do you kind of film that and get that tension and ensure it doesn't go the way that in lesser hands ends up being a bit pantomime?
It's really just about who's coordinating everything.
Hmm.
Also, it helps when someone has a background in it and is able to like really make it believable doing something like fighting or any sport, really. But having those people on set who do it for a living and really know like how to make it look real without also making it unsafe. Because like that's also a big concern is making it safe while we're doing it. And we were able to make it safe, but also make it look real because of these people, which is special. A lot of verticals have a hard time with the stunts looking legit. I'm sure you've noticed.
Yeah, so that's phenomenal. And then obviously,
Just to complement on that, like I'm a big MMA fan, and from the development of the script, like I watch MMA for years, and I what people don't realize is that fighting martial arts is a lot about strategy. It's not like just people throwing punches, but the strategy is really important. And our choreographer, the two guys, Luigi and Armando, they're professional fighters, so they help to say, Tyler character, Caleb, you're gonna have these sets of punches. And then Troy, played by Sam Morgan, you're gonna have this and this strategy. So even though like we have way more on the background that we practice, but we can still see on the screen the result. And then Tyler doesn't know, but I did a lot of background check and I saw videos of him fighting, and I know he could do on set. Yeah.
out of interest, was it planned that Luigi would also play the DA Gavin, or was that just a happy coincidence that came about on set?
I worked with him a few times, and then I actually booked him to be 24/7 on set, all the time with us on set for safety and for Thailand and to ensure everything goes well in the choreography. And then we had another character, and because he's a model, so I said, hey, Luigi, you're gonna play Gavin.
Because it's quite amazing, because obviously as a fan you watch it and you're like, oh, okay, and I'll look it up, and then you go to your Instagram, like, oh wow, he did all the fights. So you kind of see him as an actor first as a fan, and then you realise that he's got all these skills that he brought. So I have to ask about the tattoos. I'm assuming you don't have a life. How did that take in makeup? What was the design? Were there like thoughts behind it and what it was trying to represent?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely wanted to. They're meant to be intimidating. In prison, you get tattoos that they really are meant to. They're meant to intimidate. They're meant to mean something. When someone sees them, they don't want to mess with you. So that's the kind of vibe.
Mm.
It's just kind of like a rite of passage once you go to prison. I had a family member growing up who spent time in prison. He had a bunch of tattoos, so it was actually really cathartic to be that character and get those tattoos. They were so great. It took them so long every day. It took them like an hour and maybe more just to put on like that chest tattoo because they have I have like just a little bit of chest hair, but just that little bit made it so difficult for them to like make it stick just right and everything. And they made it look so real every time, and I was really impressed because it was two halves to the chest, so they had to put one half on and then line it up perfectly and put the other side on. Yeah, and taking it off took forever, forever.
The first time I
Because
saw
I
him
was
without it,
impressed with
I thought he looked naked. I was like, okay.
because I was impressed by the commitment, because I thought, okay, they'll show it once, but they're not going to do it again because it's going to take forever. But it's the fact that the tattoo is throughout the
Every day.
entire series. phenomenal. I then want to talk a bit about the lighting, actually, because one of the things that's really interesting is obviously when there's the sort of those key scenes at the beginning, there's this amazing blue light, a sort of really eerie light, and also when Caleb's when you're out of prison but boxing, sort of in the gym, there's sort of like this underground blue light, and then there's this amazing scenes when you're doing the flashbacks of kind of the happier times before it all went wrong. There's this amazing golden light, and I've not really seen that in verticals before, that use of lighting to set a mood. Maurizio, can you kind of talk about that, because I thought that was phenomenal.
Yeah, I directed a few before and including a bunch of verticals for let's say other platforms, and they usually are a bit low budget. And then when Vigloo invited me to this one, and I say I want to do this original script, and I love that, is something I really like, and we're gonna shoot that with cinema camera. And they're like, oh no, that's too much. I say, no, we're gonna shoot that with cinema cameras, like with red cameras, the ones we do feature films in Hollywood, and we're gonna put them on the vertical because then I have the control for the light and we can bring to post and we can really, so we shot like everything in 6K. We had like 2 months of post production. I was watching Tyler and Shanna every day, like, and I don't go to the sets and then leave. No, I was on post every day, like 2 months, and we are like adjusting and nailing the colors. We want to like the prison to look great, the car park to have like this kind of danger feeling, and the fights. I want it to look like UFC, like to have that flashlight. And then yeah, I think we could achieve a lot of that.
I mean, as a viewer, it's amazing, and do you watch it back, Tyler and Shanna? Is that something? Do you sit and watch a project like this and go, oh wow, that's how it looks on screen?
We had a watch party for we started talking at the same time. But everybody like brought snacks and we all watched it. And we ended up doing the two that I filmed in Vietnam. Like everybody had their favorites. So it was super fun. And I like to watch them back to like mental notes of things I could do in the future.
My favorite part was just seeing it straight on monitor after we'd film it. Would sometimes call me over and be like, check this out. And you'd be surprised. Like, I'm sure the editing was like a huge part of it, but just straight off camera with the lighting they would choose and the sets, it looked ready to go. Like, you could just watch it just like that. I was really impressed with just the production quality overall. And yeah, you're right. The lighting really set the mood, and I have not worked on almost anything else where they utilize lighting like that. Only bigger projects, and they're doing this like the pros do it. Like for like Netflix and HBO. So it's really impressive.
So, Shannon, if our signal's strong enough, I want to ask you about Delaney, because it would be easy in a lesser script for Delaney to be quite a passive character. But instead, she's phenomenal. So she gets her law degree, and then some of the most powerful moments I think are in the script are when she basically puts herself in an incredibly dangerous situation in the police station, where the delightful Bronson family have got on trumped up charges, and the fact that she walks in and one in a vertical uses the law, which most people don't seem to have in Vertland, but also just physically puts herself, and I think it particularly works, if you don't mind me saying, because you're quite small and quite slight, the fact that you walk in there and then just stand up to all this kind of male aggression is phenomenal. What did you find about that character, and kind of how is it bringing that into such a male dominated story?
Hopefully, but I really enjoyed her power and her strength as a character. That scene was so funny to film for me because all of them were like a foot taller than me, and I'm standing in here like in the room supposed to be defending Tyler, who's got muscles on muscles, and I'm like me. But I'm very protective of the people I care about, and so it was easy to put myself in her shoes in that sense. And I enjoy that she cares so deeply just about everything and about everyone and about what's right and what's wrong. And I think I connected with her in that way. And I think her strength just comes from strong like morality in that sense. And the whole thing is fight for love. There's so much power behind like their love and their relationship and that connection.
And what was that like for you, Tyler? Like, because you have this amazing you and is it Sam Morgan who plays
Mhm.
you and the sheriff as well?
Yeah,
That you're all
Sam.
going for it, and then she's got to walk in and kind of take all the, I guess, the presents in that room.
And she does. She does like
Yeah.
every time, which is one of the reasons why I think we work so well together. I think she's so easy to react off of. She's very easy to do scenes with because she doesn't tiptoe around it. He brings it 100% and she makes you elevate up there with her. And it's intimidating, being around a bunch of people that size on like in a set in a country you've never been to before. And she was just, yeah, the
Mm.
amount of courage she was showing every day was really inspiring. I still gave her a bunch of shit for being tiny, but it like I really am impressed with her. Yeah.
So obviously it's called Fight for Love. So we've got a lot of fighting in it, but also it's a really strong love story. And I think one of the things that's best is when it all comes out at the end is they both realise they've been doing everything they can to protect the other one. Had you encountered each other before this, and sort of how do you work to build up that chemistry which comes across on screen?
I,
Uh,
th- I
we
mean,
got
I
to
don't know, Shanna,
Vietnam.
if you want to go first, but we didn't really talk. Yeah, we got to Vietnam. We basically met like on set, essentially. We spent like a little time the day before, but not much. And but it was both our first time in a new country like that far away. And I think we just kind of like that brought us really close, just the fact that we're both having this brand new experience together. And then yeah, she has a great sense of humor and she's just easy to work with. I don't know, we just clicked really easy.
He's way nicer to me whenever you guys are around.
Yeah, I'm gonna be so mean after this. I'm gonna send you the meanest messages.
Don't do that. Um, yeah, it was I think almost we've had a brief conversation about there's almost this isolation on set. Everyone's there, but there's a really strong language barrier and we're in a bunch of scenes together. And so a lot of it is we really only have each other to talk to. And there's time between scenes and we get to know each other and has a very comforting presence. I was very nervous. It was my first time out of the country. So it was nice to have big tall scary man to just feel safe around and feel like uh and I think that is what really fostered like the chemistry is just I personally felt
Mm.
like safe around Tyler and in this new space. Not that I
Around big,
felt
tall, scary
unsafe
man,
at
right?
all. Well, around big, tall, scary man. And so we talked a lot on set in between scenes, and so that helped a lot too. I think it's important to like get to know the person you're acting with, do it decently well to maintain that chemistry. And also, just we had a lot in common. We're good friends, so it makes it
Hmm.
easy. He said all these wonderful things about my acting, but he
Yeah.
also elevates it and brings it up there and is easy to react off of and easy to talk to in scenes.
Mal just brought made it a really easy set to also like be comfy on. Is all I was
Yes.
gonna say. He created an environment for us to just be comfortable, which was good.
Because one of the things I really like at the end is the slight upending of the situation with the vertical parents, because they are kind of typical, aren't they? The Monroes. And I really like the fact that
Mhm.
Caleb is basically like, actually, hang on, I'm the best thing that's ever happened in your life, rather than going down what I think a lot of characters would do of, oh, I'm not good enough and I have to prove myself. Um, what other things were
Mhm.
you kind of aware of in the script that were kind of different to the usual Vert storyline?
Tyler, you go. I've got to figure something out real quick.
Let's figure something out real quick. Okay. Um, I mean, yeah, the parents are definitely kind of like this. We're the standard kind of parents. I think a lot of the other characters were is where it stands out. They all have a lot more depth than usual. They all um like his best friend when he works at the gym. That's his character brings such a fun kind of dynamic to the whole thing, and it makes you almost each character you want to follow when they leave screen.
Mm.
I don't feel like that's like a normal thing for most verticals either. Um, I've seen some of the comments. People being like, "What? Like what? We want to know more about what happened to Sam's character or his best friend or the ex-girlfriend, all that stuff. And I think it just goes to show that the writing on this one really, they went really in depth on each character, and that's what made it special.
Yeah, I think I just want to compliment on that, Jen. I think the material, uh, I directed some verticals, and one difficult sometimes when the script is very sloppy is like, what do I tell the actor? There's no motivation. There's no what's the character about? It's just random actions because they just want to have a scene about love, about this, and there's no arc in the character. And then sometimes I have to go there, and there's nothing really to talk. And then one thing we had on the script to say, no, everyone needs to make sense. All the characters, they need to have an arc, a journey, and then with that, the actors have material. So the writers, Annalisa, she did an amazing job on this script.
Hmm. Agreed.
Because yeah,
Shanna,
even with the Bronsons, obviously very cleverly named Bronsons. I don't know actually if
Mhm.
you know. Are you aware in America that there's like a famous crime guy in the UK whose surname is Bronson?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've seen his
Yeah, it's Charles
I've seen
Bronson.
the movie about him. Hmm.
Yeah, so I assumed it was a knowing nod to that. But yeah, even with them, there is a bit of motivation, isn't it? Of like they're not great, but yeah, they've lost a family member, and they want to make the person they see responsible pay. And I think that just gives those characters more depth. Um, I also wanted to ask about the because Shanna's filled in my Meet the Creatives, and you mentioned this in this about the escargot. Did you really make?
Oh,
What's happened?
I don't even want to talk
Tell
about
me
this right
about that.
now. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm scarred from
Um,
this
so
entire
delicious.
experience, man. What?
they, yeah,
No.
So the
I want
scene
to talk
is
about it.
it's a
Serious.
flashback, and it's you're all on this beautiful picnic, and Delaney's looking beautiful. There's golden light and a wonderful yellow dress, and then you've got this bowl of
Hmm. Hmm.
snails, and basically going, "You wanted to try rich people food," and then
Hmm.
from what I read, that you really did make Tyler eat one.
Yeah, I got
Oh,
to pick the biggest, juiciest
not just one.
snails. We did it like 3 times. Uh, and I got to pick out the biggest ones. They were nice and fat and juicy. And he, before every take would go, I hate you. And then they'd yell action. And then they're like, you actually have to swallow it.
Yeah.
Try. So that take where he like smacks his neck, like that's him just actually trying to get it down.
Yeah, and that was my first time ever trying escargot. That scene was my first time actually trying it. I don't know if it's supposed to be warm or cold. I don't know anything about it. I just know I had a huge cold snail with like sauce on it, and I was just not ready for that. I wasn't ready for it. I'm still kind of pissed off at Mal about it. Yeah, that better not happen. No more escargot, please. Yeah.
We're
It's
gonna
Uh,
add more
yeah.
absolutely
scenes.
ton.
Thanks.
Every
Yeah.
single one Tyler does has to have escargot.
I thought he was
Gonna puke.
enjoying.
I'm
He
gonna
was
puke
just
on
like eating
set.
the whole thing.
You cover it
Yes,
well.
because Shanna was shoving it into my mouth. She's just like, eat it. Killing me.
It
She's
is the
just killing me.
face of
She's,
someone who's
yeah.
like eating bad cooking but trying to be polite and not upset the other person. Do it very well.
Yeah.
Are there any other
Yeah.
funny stories like that that you can share? Or is it mainly snail based?
Um, one of my favorite stories is with actually Sam, the sheriff, and we did like this whole photo shoot like the first day we got there. We go and we do a fitting, and then we had to do like the poster, and then they have like our pictures for like the boxing ring. I don't know if you can see them like in the show really because they're just behind the ring. But like mine, I'm like tatted up. I'm like in there and like I'm like in a proper stance and I like this giant like 10-foot poster and I look super badass. And then I don't know why they did this to him. They took so many good photos of Sam, but the only one they put up there was him like with his eyes half closed and his mouth is open and his arms are like all like weird. He's not even in fighting stance and he was so livid every day he talked about that photo and it drove him insane and I love that kid but he was oh, he's such a beautiful little diva. I love Sam.
What about you, Shanna?
There was so the scene where they throw blue Gatorade on me, the Gatorade wasn't blue enough. And so they added this like drink mix to it, but it was durian flavored. And I don't know if you know this about durian, but it is the most horrendous smelling fruit I have ever smelled in my life. And this drink mix did smell like durian. And so we ended up doing it 2 different days. But like I'm standing in the middle of this like boxing studio over a trash bag, like and then we had to do an intimacy scene with me covered in this blue Gatorade. We're supposed to be like kissing, and Tyler's like, they'll yell cut, and we're both like,
Nasty. That was pretty nasty. Yeah.
That was our first
It
day.
smelled real bad that day.
It was our first day filming together, like our second time doing an intimacy scene for this,
Mhm.
and I'm covered in this awful blue smelling durian Gatorade.
That was
So if
the
you're
the
talking
one
about
where I'm like working the gym, like mopping around, right?
Yeah, and then
Is
the
that day?
intimacy after that is where you that was
The
that
shower.
day, and then the first day where no, not the shower, the one where
No?
we're in like
Okay.
your little bedroom, and
Yeah, right.
you're like, don't think, that one, the other line that I'm not going to say because I don't know what curse words I can say, but it's that one, and I remember it specifically because I stunk.
Oh,
and that was in a
you
small
did.
room. So
You did.
yeah. So talking
Yeah.
about the costumes, Delaney has a bit of a mixture, doesn't she? Because she has the kind of the power suit, but then every now and then, particularly at the end, you save the best dress to last. Was it quite nice, kind of? Because I feel you had quite a job to kind of keep the femininity in this movie, because obviously vertical audience is still largely women. I think something like this, because of the how good the stunts and the fight scenes are, will bring more men in. But I thought it was really crucial that you still kept that femininity. Was it nice to go to that dress at the end?
Yes, we had sorry, my phone, I'm like trying not to make sure it doesn't die on you guys. I didn't charge on the plane, I'm silly. But it was really, we ended up filming that like day 2, and I love that blue dress as well, but the pantsuits were great because I was comfortable. I was just in heels the whole time, so my feet were pretty upset by the end of it. But having the femininity was a nice break in the character, and I got to play like I got to bring that out in her, which I feel like we don't see a lot from Delaney. Like I wear skirts and stuff, but really in that moment, I got to have like the nice vertical wow where they put you in like the sparkly dress and you feel all pretty for like the whole scene, which I enjoyed.
Did you get to do any practice with any of the stunts either, or was that all done without you?
I got to sit on the side and eat fresh fruit while Tyler went and fought, so that was fun.
You did a bit with
You
Kira.
did.
You gave her choke.
I did. I choked Kira.
That's right. You did do that.
And Tyler, am I right in thinking you don't actually get to wear a billionaire suit, do you?
I don't think once. I think it's the first one I've ever done where it's just like t-shirts, wife beaters, and no shirt the entire time. Like that was crazy. I was so ready for my 3-piece suit. I was kind of glad I didn't have to wear one.
Because I think when I was rewatching it, I was like, even when Caleb goes to the bar, he's in jeans and a jacket, and is in like a
Yeah.
denim jacket, and it's quite refreshing as an audience because I've done posts about this. Some of the outfits can go a little bit woo. It's actually
Yeah.
people have been asking for a bit more realism, so I think that's another reason why it's done well. So yeah, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for all of you for this and Fight for Love. And then just if all of you could maybe do a little anything you want to say about upcoming projects that you're really excited about that you'd like to share.
Anything, Shanna?
Hello. I've got quite a few coming up, specifically with Vigloo. I've got how many? Three that are coming out on Vigloo. The titles are all works in progress, so I can't share them, but be able to look out for them. Check out Escaping the Bridezilla as well. That's another one that I shot with Mao in Vietnam. That's got Robert Palmer Watkins in it. He's a very talented guy. That one's super fun, very comedy heavy. But yeah, I'll be all over Vigloo, so keep a lookout.
As you should be. As you should
Yeah.
be. Um, yeah, we just did our swipe right together again, Shannon and I, which
Oh
was pretty
yeah,
cool. We just got back from that.
yes. Like a
So
week
we
ago
worked
we
on
shot
another
that.
one, and she got to do all the cool stuff. I got I got my butt kicked in like two scenes, and I'm just like a big nerd who doesn't know how to like move his body. So that was a big switch up. Um, and then I've got a couple of things, couple of feature films coming up, and a potentially a pretty good show coming out on Apple TV. I have something like that, and then I hope to be working in with Mao again coming up as well.
Can I just say, I love the project you did, Body Swap with My Nemesis. It's like one of my favourite verticals,
Hmm.
um, with
Nice.
Sky
Yeah, that one
Fast.
was
And
super
it's
fun.
just, I
Hmm.
just think it's a hoot. So I really hope there's a little bit more comedy as well as, I know you're brilliant at the action, but you're phenomenal at comedy.
The
So I love watching you.
comedy's, thank you. The comedy's so much more fun too. Like this one was great, but like all the ones others are so serious, and this one was it was so fun to get to pretend like I was one of these vertical women for like half the show. Like it was such a good
Mhm.
time. I loved it.
What about you, Mal?
Yes, so I've been working on two new scripts over the past 3 months. So I'm kind of refusing to do like remakes or translated scripts. So I keep working like 3 months on some ideas. And then it's nice that Vigloo is kind of backing. And especially now, Fight for Love is having so much love around the world. Like we're getting like messages from UK, Australia, the US, Asia, like from all over. Like people asking, who are the actors? Where did you guys shot? How did you do? So I think that encourages them to keep doing originals and trying to, elevate as well. I think we had a great experience to try to bring like cinematic look and research and do a story that is a bit out of the box. So yeah, I work on two new stories and loved working with Sean and Tyler. They're such great actors, and we're gonna have to prepare something new soon as well.
Yeah, I just
Awesome.
want to say on behalf of the fans, thank you so much because I think you can all be really proud of the project. And yeah, you've definitely elevated the space. And I've put out a post today of like, I don't think there's point in doing another mixed martial art movie. Like you've done the definitive one. So everyone else would really don't bother, come up with something new because it's so good, your one. So just congratulations to all of you and thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you, Jen. This was amazing. Thanks for having us on.
Stop.
Thank you so much,